What's up, guys? I'm Dakota Freeman, and welcome to the Rad Adventure Dude channel. Today, I'm going to teach you how to ride a dirt bike, and we're going to make it as easy as possible. If this video helps you out, make sure you drop some comments down below, hit that subscribe button, and like this video. Let's go. So today, I'm going to be teaching you guys exactly how to ride a dirt bike, and we're going to go over some safety stuff first, just to make sure that before we even get on the bike, we're well prepared for what we're getting into. So when we're learning how to ride a dirt bike for the first time, we really need to know where all of our controls are located. On the bike, we're going to have 5 different controls. We're going to have a throttle, a front brake, a clutch lever, a rear brake, and a gear shifter. These 5 controls are going to be how you accelerate the bike, how you bring the bike to a stop, and how you go through the gears to where you can go faster or get ready for different types of terrain. Let's go ahead and find out where they're all located. The throttle is going to be located in your right hand at the wrist. You turn your throttle knob, and that's going to help you accelerate. And the lever on the right hand side by your throttle is going to be your front brake. On the other side of your handlebars, you're going to have another lever, and this is going to be your clutch. Whenever you're shifting gears, you're going to need to use your clutch, and not all bikes are going to have this. Your rear brake is going to be located by your right foot, and to use your back brake, you're going to tap with your toe and press down the brake lever, and that's going to engage your brakes. By your left foot, on the left-hand side, you're going to have a gear shifter. The shifter is going to be how you go through different gears to go faster on your bike, or you can go to a lower gear to where you have more torque to be able to climb steeper incline hills, and also bring the bike to a stop. So now that you know all 5 of the different dirt bike controls and how to use them and what they're for, where do we sit on the dirt bike when we're learning how to ride? We're going to want to sit in the middle of the seat. This way we have a good center of gravity over both wheels as we're learning how to ride. If you're too far back on the bike at this point and you grab too much throttle as you're learning, you could potentially bring the front wheel up, and that's not really what we're trying to do when learning how to ride a dirt bike. We want to keep it smooth and easy here at the beginning to gain confidence. That way we are more comfortable on the dirt bike and we're not going to fall and get scared away too early here. If you're too far forward on your motorcycle, it's just going to make sure that your front wheel is grounded. But if you're too far forward, sometimes it can be awkward to use the handlebars, and we just want to make it very comfortable at this point. You always want to make sure when you're riding on your dirt bike that your elbows are going to be up away from your body, and you have a good comfortable grip on the handlebars. Anything can happen when we're dirt biking by hitting different bumps or different parts of terrain or even hitting a rut out on a trail. You just want to make sure you have a good comfortable grip over the handlebars so that way you have as much control as possible over your dirt bike. So when I'm using my throttle, I like to make sure that whenever I have the throttle on, it's going to be a nice straight arm instead of me having my hand straight and then grabbing the throttle like this, because it's going to want to pull your shoulder down. So when you're going to grab onto your dirt bike, you kind of want to over grab, so that way when you turn the throttle on, it's nice and even with the rest of your arm. Especially here at the beginning of learning how to ride, you don't want to use too much of the front brake. It's okay to just slightly grab it to slow the bike down. But if you really grab the front brake, you can lock the handlebars up, and this is going to throw you to the ground. So when we're first learning how to ride a dirt bike, we want to focus more on the rear brake. You can slide the rear brake by tapping this lever down, and it's a lot safer than really grabbing too much front brake. So when we're learning, we want to use more of the back brake than we are the front brake. Later in life, when you get better at riding, it's going to change, and you're going to want to use more of the front brake than the rear brake. But for now, let's use more of the rear brake so it's a little bit safer when we're coming to a stop. Also, with using the rear brake, if your bike has a clutch on it, you really want to use the clutch as you're using the rear brake. This is so as you're coming to a stop and you have the rear brake on, as the rear wheel slows down, without the clutch pulled in, you're going to stall the motorcycle, and that's going to make your bike kind of come to a stop much more abruptly. If the bike cuts off, it's just going to want to stop right there, and it could be very uncomfortable to a new rider for that to happen. So make sure that you use the clutch and pull the lever in as you engage the back brake. That way the dirt bike doesn't stall on you when you're just trying to come to a stop. I don't want to get too much into the gear shifting at this point and using the clutch, so I think it's time that we start up our dirt bikes. There's going to be 2 different ways to start a dirt bike. Nowadays, the newer bikes are going to have an electric start on them, which is going to be a button located on the handlebars. There's going to be two buttons if you have an electric start. Normally, the one on the left-hand side is going to have some sort of X on it or a red button, and that's going to be how you stop the motorcycle. And then on the right-hand side of your handlebars, by the throttle, you're going to see another button, and you're going to just simply press that button to get your bike to crank up. If your bike has a Kickstarter on it, then your Kickstarter is going to be located by your right leg, and it's going to be located right here on the bike. You'll simply pull your lever out, and that is how you're going to kickstart your dirt bike. Once your bike is running, to get the bike to actually go into motion, you're going to have to put your bike in gear. To put your dirt bike in gear, you're going to use your left foot, and down by the foot peg, you're going to see another lever. Some of the smaller bikes are going to have just up gears, and you're going to go from neutral to first to second to third, and then go back down to get back to neutral. So on the bigger bikes, you're going to go down to first, up to second, up to third, and so on. As you're going back down, you're going to go all the way back to first gear, come up a half a click to in between first and second, and that is where you're going to find neutral, and your bike's going to roll freely. Normally, you want to start your dirt bike in neutral to make it easier to crank. Once you have your bike started and we're trying to go and get it to go into motion, we're going to use our clutch lever, and we're going to pull the clutch lever in. At this point, we can now put the bike into first gear using our left foot, and as you put it down into first gear, you're going to feel it go into gear. At this point, you should still have your clutch pulled in and just click into first gear and have your other hand on the throttle. You really don't want to use much throttle at this point. You really want to use about a quarter throttle to half throttle. As you let the clutch lever out, as it's in gear, you're going to feel the bike start rolling into motion. As the bike begins to roll, you don't really want to change your throttle. You don't want to apply more throttle, and you really don't want to apply less throttle. You want to roll it on until you feel the bike rolling into motion, and at that point, keep the throttle right where it is and still slowly let the clutch lever out. If you feel like the bike's going to die, you can simply pull the clutch lever back in a little bit, apply a slight bit more throttle, and then return to letting the clutch all the way out. Once you've let the clutch all the way out, you can now begin to roll on more throttle. Also remember what's around you and what kind of space you have to ride in. If you let the throttle out and you're starting to go, you want to make sure you have a big open area. This way you can make wide turns and not have to really worry about running into anything. Especially when you're learning, it's going to feel very awkward to turn the handlebars and to actually turn the bike the first couple of times. So make sure you have a good wide open area so you can take big swooping turns and make it easier for you. So once you're going on the bike and you've made maybe a turn, or you're just kind of going down your straightaway and you're ready to go ahead and bring the bike back to a stop, we're going to now pull the clutch back in, and you're going to feel it free up the motor. As you pulled the clutch in and you're coming to a stop now, you're going to want to use your brakes to really bring your bike to a stop. Like I said before, since we're learning, we really don't want to use too much of the front brake, because I don't want you to lock up the handlebars early on. So as you have the clutch pulled in, you're going to use your back brake more, and you're going to feel it start to slow the bike down. If this isn't slowing the bike down fast enough, then you can slightly grab your front brake and pull it until you feel it engage. Like I said, be careful with overusing your front brake when you're learning, because if you pull it in too much, you can lock the handlebars up, and this is going to send you flying to the ground. Once the bikes come completely to a stop as you're using your back brake and your front brake with the clutch pulled in, you can then use your gear shifter, go all the way to first, come up a half a gear back to neutral, and at that point you'll be able to let the clutch out, and as you're letting the clutch out, you won't feel the motor engaging as it's in neutral. This way, you can start the bike, you can use your throttle to accelerate, and now you know how to pull the clutch in and use your brakes to bring you to a stop. These things are going to be super important when learning how to ride a dirt bike, because if you get out on the bike and you're not aware of how to use these controls properly, there's no time to really learn them in the present. So at that point, you could get injured, wreck, fall, and this is completely normal. but we want you guys to learn in the safest way possible so that way you feel more comfortable on your dirt bike and more confident every time you ride. So now that you're comfortable using the throttle, using the clutch, and know how your brakes are going to work and respond, and you're getting more into going different places on your dirt bike, let's go ahead and cover how to turn a dirt bike the proper way. Whenever we're learning how to turn, we're going to use two different things. We're going to use our handlebars and our body weight. When we're using our handlebars, we don't want to make too big of a turn right now at the beginning because we really want to be able to go slow and learn with a big, wide, swooping corner. This is best if you have a wide open area and you're not confined and having to make a sharp corner. This way you don't have to overturn the handlebars too much and you can just simply focus on turning a little bit at a time. Once you're ready to turn sharper, then you can actually use the handlebars more, and we're going to want to use our body weight to push the bike to the inside. When you're leaning the dirt bike like this, you're going to use your lower body and your arms. As you push the bike kind of to the inside, you want to counterweight that by leaning more to the outside of the bike, using your outside knee to really push the bike to the inside. So turning the handlebars more and using our outside leg to help push the bike over to the inside is really going to help you make a corner much sharper. And as you're coming out of the corner, once your bike's leaned over, you can also use your outside leg again to help put weight on that outside foot peg to help the bike stand back up straight, and then you can continue going down a straightaway. So it's really going to help when we're learning how to make these corners sharper to make sure that we're gripping with our knees and that we're using our lower body to help kind of lean the bike to the inside of the corner, other than just using the handlebars all the time. So what do we want to keep in mind before we even get on the dirt bike? We really want to focus on not using too much throttle, and we really want to focus on being centered in the middle of the dirt bike. You also want to be pretty comfortable with all your controls and know where they all are. Before you start going on your dirt bike, make sure you know how to stop your dirt bike. This is going to be super important, so that way you're not out riding and get hurt because you didn't know exactly how to use the controls. It's okay to make mistakes, we all do, but just know before you get on the bike how to go on the bike, how to stop the bike, if something happens, how to kind of corner the bike. This way you don't fall the very first time you get on a dirt bike. I'm so glad that you guys are taking the time to learn how to ride your dirt bike the proper way. If you want more information, make sure you check out my website where I have some products available, but also I have a dirt bike course that's going to really help you. The dirt bike course is going to take you from being a very beginner to an advanced rider covering tracks, trails, and everything you're going to see along the way. I really think it's going to help you become a better rider much faster and also keep you very safe along the way. So make sure you check out my dirt bike courses. If this video helped you out, drop some comments down below, ask me any questions that you guys have. I'd love to answer them. Please hit that subscribe button, it really helps us out. Like this video. I'm Dakota Freeman, and I will see you next time. Make sure you click right here and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future content. After that, you can watch my next video right here. Go ahead and click on it. I'll see you guys over there.